Hey, everybody, look at your screen. Look at our special guest joining us. Award-winning actress and singer Tristin Mays is here, and award-winning feature film director and writer Jonathan L. Bowen is joining us as well. We're so excited to have them here. Tristin joining us from Los Angeles, and Jonathan is joining us from Las Vegas. And Tristin, you know, from a lot of great television series. She is absolutely amazing. Starred in MacGyver on CBS. That's right. You're saying, oh, wow, that's her. That's her. Yes, gang, that is her. Jonathan, well, he's all excited because he has created this, which is something phenomenal. If you love comics and comic adventures and comic books and superheroes and so much more, you're going to love the comic shop, which Kristen actually co-stars in with a variety of incredible people like Jesse Metcalfe. Of course, you know him from so many great series, Desperate Housewives, and so much more. And also, Micah Giovanni stars in that as well. We're going to talk about all of that and the entire presentation. We also have a trailer we're going to show you as well. In addition to starring on MacGyver, of course, Tristin, who is a brilliant actress and singer, you may remember her as Sarah on Vampire Diaries too. Yes, now it's clicking in. You're like, oh my God, that's her, that's her. Yes, it is. And she is a special guest here on the Jim Masters Show series. And we're so excited. If you've seen her in these roles, she is absolutely captivating. She's amazing. She's phenomenal. And our very special guest, Jonathan, as well. Jonathan has had an opportunity to work with so many fabulous people. There is actor Jesse Metcalfe, and they're having a fun moment on set. We've got a lot of behind the scenes material, photos, and cool things that we're going to show you about the making of the comic shop. It's going to be something really, really cool. First, I want to tell you a little bit about our very, very special guests because they have really incredible backgrounds. I mean, they've been doing this for a long time, and I just want to tell you a little bit about their backgrounds because, you know, sometimes you forget about some of the things that they've done. Well, Tristin grew up in New York City, was with a Ford modeling agency where she quickly became one of the top child models in the country. And later she landed several national commercials such as Kraft Cheese, Play School, Kool-Aid, Sunkist, Ross, McDonald's, and Hershey's. I think we've tasted and visited and played with all of those brand names. Tristin was also in several Broadway productions, including Disney's The Lion King. That's right. And from 2016 to 2021, she starred on CBS's MacGyver as Riley Davis. Her other television credits include a starring role on Nickelodeon's Gullah Gullah Island, also as Janice Huxtable on Everybody Hates Chris, and the multi-personality bully Bernice on Nickelodeon's Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. She also appeared on Disney's XD's Zeke and Luther as Monica Lopez, Big Time Rush, Stephanie King, True Jackson VP, as Haley, Disney's XD's Kickin' It, as Vanessa Love, Alias, as Robin Dixon, Private, as Taylor Bell, Supergirl, as Parlena, The Vampire Diaries, as Sarah Nelson. She was also in the singing group Jane 3, and they were signed to Jive Zomba Records as well, and really cool stuff. This is just the short list, folks. Some of her film work also includes the starring role as Isabel Sanchez in Thunderstruck, alongside Taylor Gray and NBA star Kevin Durant. She also starred in House Party, Tonight's the Night, as Autumn Rose. That is just the short list of the incredible things that she has done, and it's really, really fantastic. Now, I'll tell you a bit about our other special guest who's joining us here on the Jim Masters Show. I see a lot of comments coming in. Thanks, everybody, for the enthusiasm. We welcome everybody who's watching all around the world. Jonathan's interest in film led him to start a review site in high school where he posted more than 600 movie reviews. Continuing into college, and after graduating from Oregon State University with a degree in philosophy, he moved to LA to pursue a career in film, starting with independent music videos. He learned the skills he needed as a filmmaker and established a production company, JLB Media Productions, specializing in business-to-business marketing and web videos. His music video and short film work has been selected at 41 film festivals nationwide. Each submitted project won in its category at least one festival, including The Devil's Matchmaker, a short film that won Best Short Comedy Romance at the Eugene International Film Festival. He wrote and directed Amy Allison Fans, a feature-length romantic comedy starring Brendan Bradley, Cooper Harris, Josh Sussman, and Lachlan Monroe, and Jason Shane Scott, and lots more. And now the Comic Shop, which he's very excited about, and we're so excited to preview this with all of you. It's something exciting. Welcome, everybody watching all around the world. We've been getting comments from across America. We're here in the United States, in the New York area. That's where the Jim Masters Show operates and broadcasts from. Wherever you're watching, good to have you with us. And now let's welcome our very special guest. Here is Jonathan Bowen, and here is Tristin Mays. Hey, gang, welcome to the show, my friends. How are you?
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
The pleasure is all mine. So we've pretty much got the USA covered here where everybody is.
It's true.
Thank you for that great intro, too. I told Jonathan to shorten that bio, but it's okay.
No, that bio just grows. The two of you just grows and grows and grows. You've, Tristan, you've really been on fire. You're in so many things. And I think when we sort of announced some of that, people are like, oh, yeah, that's right. She was in that and she starred in that and co-starred in that. It's incredible. You know, you grew up in New York. What was the inspiration to want to go into acting and entertainment and the arts? Did you come from a theatrical family?
I didn't at all, actually. My parents, they knew they wanted to get me in the business before I was even born. So it started with my brother. He's a year and a half older than me. They started with him. And then, of course, like toddlers do, they copy everything that their siblings do. And they knew that I was meant for it as well. So I started at 2, literally before I even knew what I was doing. I was in the industry modeling, doing commercials, you know, I was on the Toys R Us boxes, on the games and stuff. We used to get
yeah.
Those little magazines you get in the mail of all the games and the Macy's ads and, you know, all of those things. I was in there. My mom kept all of them. So, yeah.
How cool is that, huh?
Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time.
So when you went to school and you're here on Toys R Us boxes and Macy's and Play School and these other things, did the kid recognize that as being, hey, wait, is that you?
Well, I was homeschooled throughout that time. I was homeschooled I did go to public school for kindergarten, but then mom pulled me out so I can focus more on how often we had to go into the city for jobs and things like that. So I didn't actually go to public school until 8th grade. That's when everyone recognized me. So, yeah, I got the brunt of it in 8th grade. Are like professionals at making fun of people. That's when I went to school.
Exactly. Right.
One day they tried to make fun of me for one day. It's like, "Ooh, she's the actress." And I'm like, "What's funny?" And then they're like, "Oh yeah, I guess you're right. That's not that funny. That's cool." So then after that, it was just always cool. I never had an issue.
That is very, very cool. So you had a lot of commercials and the modeling at the outset. And did you like it right away? Was it something where you said, you know, I think I'd like to take this further and get into television and film and things of that nature? Was it something where it took to you right away, Tristan?
Well, it was all the above at the same time. So I mean, I did my first commercial at 4. It all came at the same time. I did my first movie at 4 as well. It was called Harambe. It was a TV movie with a couple of very reputable actors in it that were on TV at the time. So it was always fun. It was always a lot of fun. I mean, I had so many friends who were in the industry as well. Best friends that I would see at every single audition. We had little clubs and, you know, we would like color and stuff in the waiting rooms and then bring them back at the next audition next week. We had like our own system that we lived by. And of course, you know, just some of the best people I ever met as well. And my mom made really good friends as well with all the mothers that were around. And, you know, everyone stayed tight. Everyone supported each other, you know, for as long as we could. And then I was 7 years old when I booked a TV show called Gullah Gullah Island on Nickelodeon. And honestly, I just remember having the time of my life, my whole childhood. to be honest. As a child actor, I had the time of my life. Luckily, my parents were always there. They were always close. They were always making sure everything was good and safe for me. And they instilled a lot of really good values and morals into me as well. So I had a really great childhood in the industry.
That's so cool. That is wonderful. If you're lucky enough to grow up in the New York tri-state area, like you did and I did as well, we have such access to so much of the arts and to television and film productions and of course Broadway, lots of theater. And it's really cool if you grew up in LA and other areas too, same thing. And now of course, like Nashville, so big with music of all kinds, it gives you an opportunity to sort of dive in early, which I think is such a fantastic thing. I mean, for us, school trips, when we were out east on Long Island, we're going to Broadway plays and to museums and stuff like that we just thought was natural.
Yeah, but it really is a privilege. Like it was really awesome to be able to do that stuff.
It absolutely is. What would you consider when you look at your extraordinary career that is really unbelievable when you see all the things you've done and continue to do, Tristan? What do you think is one of those big breaks for you? I mean, obviously starting early and being in a film early and all these national commercials are breaks, but what was something where it took it from here to there, other than working, of course, with Jonathan?
You know what? I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't think it's 100% gotten there just yet in my eyes. I think I'm still.
You know what? You know how many people come on the show, and I mean, people have been doing it for 50 years. I mean, people, Hollywood, television, film, whatever, and they're like, I'm still waiting for that big break, Jim.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I thank you, first of all, for all of your great compliments and your great words. Personally, I don't feel I've quite gotten there just yet. I mean, MacGyver was definitely a role for me that is the most fun role that I've played. I got to be 100% myself, and I felt like, I guess I can say, as far as the role that I got to play, that one so far let me know that okay, this is definitely what I'm meant to do. I'm gonna keep sticking this out. Because right before MacGyver, I was about to quit. I had decided in the best way possible that I was done. I had done everything that I could in the industry. I've done my best, and at this point, I think it's time that I open my eyes up to what other blessings might be out there for me. And it was the last audition of my career at the time. And I said, after this, I just can't do it anymore. I'm gonna bow out gracefully, grateful for what I've done and what I've gotten, and this will be the last one. And it was on my birthday.
Oh, wow.
My mom took me to the audition because I just physically didn't have the strength to take myself. And I ended up booking the show after one audition, and it changed my whole life.
Wow.
And it just let me know, we see those pictures on the internet all the time. You see the guy like digging on both sides. You see two guys digging. One of them is really, really close to the big diamond, and one of them, but one of them gives up right before he's about to reach the ginormous diamond. But he gives up because he's tired. It 100% made that real for me, and after that, it made me just want to fight that much harder to keep going. I mean, not only did I book the role of a lifetime for myself personally, but it also showed me like, wow, you really can't give up, Can you guys still hear me?
Oh yeah, we're just giving you the full screen.
Okay, cool.
Because you're in your mother's beautiful art studio. Tell us.
Thank you. But yeah, no, it really just taught me that, whenever when you feel like you're at the very end, that's when you're actually the closest. And it changed the way I looked at everything. And I think after MacGyver, I came out with a different sort of energy. Like, okay, yeah, no, like I just got to keep chipping away at it. And I still feel like that takeoff moment is still coming. It's still coming. But I would say that MacGyver gave me a lot of great training, a lot of great skills. I learned as much as I could about, cinematography and everything that it takes to put together a production. And so since the show, I've really capitalized on creating my own productions and building my director's reel. And, getting as much knowledge as I can in the director's field. I had a lot of great mentors that I left the show with, a lot of people that really wanted to help me out and see me succeed. So luckily to this day, those people still help me, and I can still call on them for advice and help and things like that. So, what I left the show with, I'll always be grateful for, and I can't wait to actually see what's next.
That's so cool. And you've been having opportunities to do the behind the scenes work, right? And really enjoying that. You obviously, as you were on set, you were watching and probably really absorbing and paying attention to what was going on around you, the directors, the producers, the writers, the crew, huh?
Oh, absolutely. I would come to work sometimes on my days off just to get as much knowledge as I can. If there were certain directors that I really liked, I would come and shadow them and study what they did. And also just like and it's everything about it. It's the way that they prepare the day, the way that they prepare their shot list. Some have completely different ways of doing it. Some do it all in their head. Some write it down on a long scroll of paper. Some draw everything out with little pictures. Like there's so many different ways that directors work. And I've just been able to take little pieces from all of them and sort of, put it towards the kind of director that I want to be. And it's been the greatest. It's the greatest film school you could possibly have. So if nothing else, I'm truly grateful for that.
How did the Vampire Diaries come your way too? Because a lot of people know you're from that. And when we were mentioning that you were going to be a special guest here on the Jim Masters show, people were like, "Oh my God, MacGyver! Oh my God, Vampire Diaries! Oh my God, Nickelodeon, Disney!" Everybody had their various lists of what they know you from. And like all of us that are in the creative arts with the different hats we wear on camera, on air, behind the scenes, some people know us from just this, some know us from just that. And they're like bowled over when they realize you've done all these other things as well. How did Vampire Diaries come your way?
That was a show that I would get auditions for about once a week. I auditioned for the Vampire Diaries before the show came out for every single female role that came onto the show. I auditioned for the show, I believe 19 times before I booked a role on it.
Wow.
That's not including callbacks. So it was sort of a thing where and I told this story a few times on podcasts now, but that was a situation where it was the 19th time I was called in for it. And I knew I had done a really good job on the previous audition for it. Just would never get a booking. And the casting directors at this point, they were such great people, always positive, always great energy. But I walked in there and this time I said, I kind of just felt like at this point, if they never want to talk to me again, it's fine because I can't come in here anymore. I've done my best. So I walked in there and I said, "Hey guys," after my audition, I was walking out of the room. Like, "You're so great, Tristan. See you soon, blah, blah." And I was like, "Hey guys, look, I just wanted to thank you for always bringing me in." And I was like, "But I just want to be honest with you guys. Unfortunately, I can't come in here anymore, And they were like, "Oh, well, if it's not this one, we'll bring you in for the next one." And I was like, "No, guys, like, I really mean it. Like, can you just put in a good word for me for the producers in Atlanta? Because I can't come back anymore." And they I saw their smiles kind of drop, and they're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure, okay." And I drove home and ended up booking the role before I even got home.
Wow, that's
So
incredible.
I'll never know if it was because I just said that, or if it's because it was my time, and the universe said, "Okay, now's your time." But I booked the role before I even got home, and I ended up getting, to me, a very important role on the show, which was the only living relative of the main two guys on the show, Damon and Stefan. The only living relative of theirs. I booked the role of Sarah Salvatore. So she comes in as a character whose name's Sarah Nelson, but you eventually find out she's a Salvatore. So it ended up being a pretty dynamic role. I was on for, I believe, 7 or 8 episodes. And it was awesome. And that was the first time I got introduced to Atlanta, which is where they shot it. And when I was out there, I remember saying, "Man, I just hope one day I get a show or a project out here that brings me to Atlanta full time." I wanted to be out there full time. LA never felt like home for me. It was always New York. And a year and a half, 2 years later, I ended up booking MacGyver that brought me to Atlanta full time. So yeah,
What was it like being on the set of Vampire Diaries and working with everybody? That's quite a franchise.
That is such a good question. It was surreal because I I knew about the show. I knew who was on it, but I never had actually watched it until I booked the role. And luckily I had a little bit of time, but I made the mistake of binge watching the entire show all the way up to my episode. So by the time I got on set, I was like starstruck by everybody. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm here. Oh my gosh, that's the tree. That's the house. That's the bar. That's the pub. Oh my gosh, that's Damon. Oh my gosh. Like it was like I stepped into a dream. It was pretty freaking amazing. Just yeah, it was like a dream come true. Just binge watching that show and then all of a sudden stepping right into it. But I didn't just step into it. I had to act and now be a part of it, you know. I'm now acting in the same places that I've seen so much on this show. So one of the coolest experiences ever. The cast was incredible. Yeah, there's people that I made friends with on the cast and the crew that I'm still friends with to this day. A lot of the crew members on Vampire Diaries ended up being crew members on MacGyver as well. So I got to work with some of the same cameramen and some of the same DPs and PAs, and it was super cool. Super cool to have that.
You know, you mentioned MacGyver, which is another incredible franchise. There was, of course, the original and then the reboot. What was it like being on that iconic series and the version on CBS?
Oh, man. Well, let me tell you. Tell the story, too. Because, and I don't talk about this much, but before I auditioned for the role of Riley, I had originally auditioned twice for MacGyver for the original pilot that they shot. Before they wrote Riley into the show. I auditioned for 2 different female roles. One was like a female cop kind of role, and the other was another woman that was older. And I didn't book either of those. They ended up doing the pilot. I guess they scrapped the pilot, and they were going to reshoot the pilot with new characters. So that's when I got the call, and I had already kind of like decided I was going to let everything go. And there was this new role that they wrote in that it had to have been, if it didn't say Riley, it could have said Tristan Mays, because the other 2 roles were older than me. Just character-wise, they didn't really fit, but this role, Riley, popped up, and it said, badass, she can kick butt, chip on her shoulder, computer hacker with a cool attitude, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, now that seems like something I can pull off. And, mentally I had truly just like kind of given it all up to the universe. And I ended up walking in there and to me having one of the best auditions I ever had. And I will say that between the time I auditioned for the original pilot with the other characters, my dad told me how much he loved MacGyver growing up. And he got me so into the show that I ended up binge watching all the seasons before I even got the next audition for Riley. So those months passed. I knew that the show had already gotten picked up. The pilot was already being shot. I sucked it up as a loss. And I was like, you know what? Let me just watch the heck out of the show and just get to know this epic universe that I never knew about, MacGyver. And I became crazy about the show. So yeah, it was like when that last audition popped up, I was like, this is actually my one chance to be on one of the most epic reboots of all time. At least what I felt it was, because I thought the original show was so epic. And yeah, I not only got the opportunity to do a reboot for, to me, one of the most epic shows, but play a role that could not have been more fitting for me. So, yeah.
Yeah, you knocked it out of the park. Absolutely. I know all the MacGyver fans, and I saw you on MacGyver on CBS. Really, really good. I mean, you could tell that you were all in and you were having such a great time, you know?
Oh, I really had a great time. And what else? I mean, there's so much. Oh, you know what? I at this point, I had knew so much from the original series that once our show was starting to be written, the scripts were coming out, I would see certain things that correlated to original episodes from the 80s. And I would go to my cast and be like, you guys see what happened here. So I would like try to pull up like the old episode on like my phone, and like they didn't really care too much. But I was like, you guys, when MacGyver did this, that's what we're about to do. Like I was like so excited. I felt like such a nerd about it, but it was awesome to see like certain things kind of be revisited again in our new series. Especially, we had a few original cast members come back from the original series as well, and play other characters on our show. So that to me was so cool.
And then you have this wonderful range of material that you've done for Nickelodeon and for Disney, and people know you from all of those shows as
Mhm.
well. And of course, being on Everybody Hates Chris, Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide,
Fun
Zeke and
stuff.
Luther,
Really
and
fun stuff to do as a kid, I must say.
unbelievable, right? And
Yeah.
there's legions of fans that remember all that too, huh?
Yes, absolutely there is. I've had a fan base that has stayed with me since the beginning, and one of the really cool things is with MacGyver, it brought in a newer fan base, and now they're starting to go back and watch stuff with their kids and stuff now, and now that their kids are like 13 and 14, they're starting to go back and watch all of those old things on Disney and Nickelodeon, and they're like, "We had no idea you were on there. I was watching it with my daughter, and she saw you." Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I've been around a while. I'm on there.
And right, I mentioned too, also being a part of the group Jane 3 as a vocalist. Tell us about that. People might not know as much about the singing part of your career too.
It's something I've revisited a lot more as of the last 3 years, especially on the theater side of things. But yeah, I did. I did join the music scene for a little bit back in the day. I'd probably say from the ages of 15 through 18, I went really strong with music. Maybe to about 20, 23 or so. But it was back before it was like you could be independent and do music. It was when you kind of had to like send demos out and hope you get signed, and it was a little bit tougher back then. And I would say that I had some awesome opportunities and I had some not so awesome opportunities. That singing group in particular, I made some really good girlfriends out of it. I learned a lot. I had some really fun experiences. Um, but it did make me want to take a break from the music scene until I could go into it the proper way. And I think I'm kind of getting back into that space. So I've been talking with a couple of great producers and people in the music industry lately, and yeah, there's some stuff coming up.
That is really, really cool. And you also, which I think is something really exceptional as well, you have the new vintage boutique. I mean, you're into handbags and designing all kinds of cool things as well. That is awesome.
Yeah. So I started a handmade charcuterie board business about 2 years ago. It was actually right before I shot the comic shop. Oh my gosh, that's actually a story on itself. So yeah, I started this business where I wanted to hand make charcuterie boards and make them look pretty because I we often see charcuterie boards and it's really just wood, food and fruit on wood, and that's cool. But I wanted to create something that was a little bit more beautiful, something people would want to make as like a centerpiece. So yeah, I came up with that and I started to create them within about 3 weeks. And then I made a few of them and I just released them on Etsy and I posted on my Instagram page. And I mean, they sold out so fast. And then I had backed up orders for the next 2 months. I ended up getting the comic shop, and so I brought my whole like operation to Vegas where we shot it. I was making them in my hotel, trying to keep up with orders while also filming on set. And it ended up, well, that whole situation just let me know this is a successful thing. So I've been, picking away at it ever since. And the business is finally starting to grow even more. And it's a product people really like. So yeah, I have my website, newvintageboutique.com, or you could find them on my Instagram page, on my Etsy link, whatever's easier for you. But yeah, great Christmas gifts.
It's really cool stuff. We were taking a look at it the last couple of days when we were putting this episode together, and very, very talented and very creative. Encourage folks, handbags, jewelry, clothing, accessories. It's really fantastic.
Thank
And
you.
they're also on display in a small boutique in Riverside, California.
No, so that's really old. That's how I was saying. I think that bio needs to be
So,
updated.
so you did do that. You had it at one time in a
I
boutique?
did used to, yeah, when I was around 15, 16 years old, I was selling jewelry, purses, and handbags.
At
Um,
15, 16 years old.
yeah, I
She's
was. So
got that New York spunk, folks.
100%. I was
Yeah,
100% on my New York grind.
it's the New
But
York
yeah,
grind.
I had a small boutique in a community store where other boutiques had their little sections set up, and I was selling handbags, jewelry, all stuff that I personally picked out myself or chose. And yeah, I did that for about 5 years, I believe, until it was kind of time to move out of the Riverside area and be in LA more full time. So
A
Yeah, maybe one day
CEO
I'll
at 15.
yeah. Yeah.
I love it. That is so cool. I mentioned your film work starring as Isabel Sanchez in Thunderstruck and Taylor Gray with NBA star Kevin Durant,
Yeah.
also starring in House Party, Tonight's the Night as Autumn Rose. Do you love the film world? And those were some really great things you were in.
I do. You know what? Those were super fun movies to book. I think I booked them both kind of around the same time. And it was with the same people. So I got those and I haven't done a movie since, but no, I'm just kidding. Comic shop. But
Right.
yeah, it's, I do love filming movies. I would love to film more. That was a great experience. I think after that I did a small part in a movie. Yeah, after that I did a small part in a movie with Kevin Hart called The Wedding Ringer.
Oh yeah.
And then after that no more movies. Besides a comic shop, I did another small part in a movie around the same time called Bang, which is also in the shopping process right now. So yeah, hopefully both of these come out soon.
More commercials too.
I did a lot of commercials up until about the age of 24. I haven't done any since, but
How about voiceover work?
I would love to do
That's
voiceover
a
work.
good area to be in, right?
I would love to do voiceover work.
Yes.
So you know what? I mean, right now I live stream on Twitch. That's what I've been doing for the past year.
That's right. Yes.
So awesome because I actually have a very big following in the video game community. So it couldn't be more perfect for the comic shop. I mean, everyone that follows me and supports me on Twitch, they're also comic book fans. They're so excited about the movie. They always ask me when it's coming out. I have no information, but
if any of the Twitch fans are watching, hello from the Jim Masters Show, from Jonathan and Tristan.
Yeah, hi Sharon, I know you're in here.
Sharon's here. Hey, Sharon's in the house.
I have some really I have a really great
loyal, diehard, right?
Yeah, so I really I would love for them to be able to see this movie, and I hope to do a lot more.
Tristan, you should tell them about the Pan Am story, the cyberpunk.
Okay, that's a great one to talk about.
Yeah, Pan Am story.
Yeah, so 2020-ish, I got a lot of messages saying that not that I looked just like, but that this game had used my likeness, basically, for a character. And they were like,
AI before AI.
Yeah, they're like, you know about this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, as soon as I saw the photo, I was like, oh, snap. Like, I knew immediately. But, I think it's the coolest thing. I hadn't even said anything yet. I mean, it was a Reddit thread that spun completely out of control. And by the time I knew about it, I had already made, I think, 40,000 followers overnight because of this Reddit thread. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, you're Pan Am, you're blah, blah, blah. This character, her name is Pan Am. She's badass. She's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, if I could play a role like that, I would. But she's definitely very Riley. So yeah, people had been encouraging me to make a Twitch for years. I mean, literally since 2020, to talk about this or just to play video games, whatever it was. I've been playing video games since I was a little girl. So I finally took the leap and I did it. The very beginning, was it this year? Beginning of this year, January is when I first started doing it. It's been therapeutic, to say the least, because it actually seemed like something I didn't know if I was really prepared to do. And after the first couple times, I was like, holy crap, this is actually therapeutic. It's awesome. The community is amazing. The support is awesome. Playing video games again has been just such a stress reliever from this crazy industry. I mean, it's like at some point you got to check out and turn it off,
You'll have to create a character that you can voice in the video games too, because that's a great area to be in, huh?
Oh, I would love to do a voice on a game. I have auditioned for The Last of Us, I think 3 times. Haven't managed to get a role on there yet, but
it's competitive. But once you get in, you become you're like a superhero forever to the super fans, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So shout out to Neil Druckmann, the creator of The Last of Us. Still waiting.
I think the cyberpunk sequel. If they're listening,
that would be amazing. Or if they ever do a live action.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do it.
And there is creativity. Is this? You said it's your mother's art studio that you're in. Look at all of the paints and everything behind her. That's beautiful. Insane,
right? She's actually right now, as we speak, she's doing a paint and sip party for the community. So I'm here in her neighborhood right now. She lives in this beautiful gated community. and she's doing this 40-person paint and sip right now down the street. So that's actually why I'm here. I was here helping her set up all day today, and yeah, that's exactly what she's doing right now. So
That is so cool, huh?
following her things too. I mean, she spent her whole later part of her life helping me, going with me down the streets of New York in the snow and getting on the Staten Island ferry and the subways.
Because you grew up in Staten Island, right? Yeah.
I grew up in Staten Island and
A
Brooklyn.
lot of amazing talent has come out of, well, the New York area, of course, but Staten Island, of course, Brooklyn, Barry Manilow, Barbara Streisand, Neil Diamond. There's something in the water. In Staten Island, a good friend of ours, Glenn Scarpelli, who's been a guest on our show several times, he starred on the series One Day at a Time, Norman Lear's comedy series, One Day at a Time. And he's done a lot of cool things. And just really, it's amazing the talent that's come out of Staten Island, huh?
Yeah.
Pete Davidson's from there, and Colin Jost on SNL is from Staten Island.
True. The Impractical Jokers.
Right.
Friends. Yeah. So, there's definitely a certain type of energy out there, a lot of great talent. But yeah, at the end of the day, I thank my mom and my dad for just getting me through those streets and getting me to my auditions and my callbacks on time. And
I bet you're quite proud as they've looked at the career and your tenacity and your enthusiasm and passion for it and the development of the talent. I'm sure they're very, very proud, huh?
They absolutely are. And
that's the best. That's the icing on the cake to it all, isn't it? Family.
It's still an upward work in progress. I still have a long way that I plan to go, but if not, then I'm happy.
That's it. Hey, you made it on the Jim Master Show live. I mean, it's like the pinnacle. And I always say, when I started the show, I said the show, especially at the time when we all needed it, though the world does need it every day, said the show has a lot of light, love, and levity. And I said that too fast, ever the New Yorker, one time, and I tripped up on the words. And I said, yeah, the show has a lot of light levity. I combined love and levity, and all of a sudden I said levity. So the audience fell in love with the word, and they said, guess what, Jim? Effective ASAP. You're Mr. Levity. This is Levity Hall. We're your Levity squad, and the guests are part of the Levity family.
That's cute.
So, isn't that cool?
I like that.
So you're a Jim Master Show Levity. There's Oscars, Grammys, Tonys, Peabodys. All these are great awards, Emmys.
I don't need anything
When you get
else.
a Levity from the Jim Master Show, it's pretty special. And
I'm honored.
How did you guys meet? Tristan, how did you meet Jonathan to work on this great project that we're going to talk about?
No clue. Jonathan, how did we meet?
So that loops back to MacGyver. So for me, MacGyver was a big part of my childhood, the original. And I would actually schedule my days around MacGyver because USA Network had reruns. And I think it was 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. So I would watch the 10 a.m. and go out and swim or shoot hoops or whatever, and then be back inside to watch the rerun at 5. So I hadn't actually gotten around to watching the reboot with Tristan until the pandemic hit, and we're all trying to kill time, right? And then I start binging the show, and she was great in it, but at the time, all I could think was man, when are we ever going to be able to make anything again? We're just all stuck home, and when am I going to be able to make another movie? So then when we're in casting, we were trying to think of somebody who could really play this character, Alex, who embodied what we were looking for, that kind of moxie, feistiness, just the whole package. And I was on the phone with the producers and the casting director, and I said, do you guys know who Tristin Mays is? And right away, my producer, Ron's like, yeah, Tristan's great. And I was like, do you think she might do it? Maybe. And they're like, well, doesn't hurt to ask. So then, we made the offer, and I think it was only a couple days until Tristan got back to us. And I was really excited because it's kind of weird and surreal to cast somebody you were just seeing in this show for hours and hours, probably 10 months earlier or something. Yeah, it was probably only about 9 or 10 months earlier that I just been binging this series. So it was kind of neat. And I think, she just fit the role perfectly. So
Thank
she
you
really
so
did.
much.
Yeah. It's really cool. So that's how you guys met. And then Tell us about what it was like working on this project, the idea behind the comic shop. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so basically the idea behind it is kind of a marriage of some part of reality from my past with my present with fiction. So it's a little funny, but basically there was a real life comic shop owner who
Yeah.
I saw probably once or twice a week. And I actually went to a convention with him. So there was a scene that was kind of inspired by that. And we became friendly, but I was also just a good customer. So kids don't understand the difference between like he's my friend and like, boy, I just spent a lot of money at this comic shop. So as the years kind of went on, he spent less time there and he was sort of across the street, having some beers. And he didn't even have employees when I first worked with him. He he was just there. And gradually the employees kind of threw him under the bus and they would say, oh, he's not here again today. Like he's across the street drinking. And, when you're 12, I don't really know what that means. Like at that point, I'm like, okay, So as an adult, I kind of wanted to imagine like what would have caused that? Like, was this just not his passion? Like, because picture for a 12-year-old, you think owning a comic store is like the coolest thing in the world. That's the dream job right there. Because you're surrounded by all this awesome stuff. You get the exclusives first before the customers can get them. So that's how you think of it when you're a kid. And obviously that wasn't the reality, whatever was going on there. And all I heard from one of the rival comics store owners, like maybe a couple months later, is that he had shut down the store and was driving for UPS. That was the last I heard of it. So I thought, what if I could write this guy like the ending that he deserves, like instead of the ending he got in real life. And I also combined that with me because I had been doing corporate work for 11 or 12 years between feature films and really kind of just not living my passion. So I kind of felt like Mike a little bit. Like I was doing my plan B. So I kind of put myself into him, but then also put my younger self into the younger character so that it's almost like the younger and older Jonathans meet, but with like, of course, a lot of fictional elements because I frankly haven't read many comics since I was 12, 13. I read some for the research on the script, but Tristan, when we got her on Zoom, one of the first things she said was, okay, so I'm not a huge avid comic reader, just so you guys know. And Jesse actually chimed in and was like, it's not about comics. And he was right. Like it's set in this comic world of the imagination of art and creativity, but it's certainly not like, it's not some diehard comic thing because it's really about relationships and the way that everybody, I think, really impacts each other. That's what I like about the movie is how each connection, you see that, Tristan's relationship as Alex affects the way that Mike behaves, but Mike's behavior is improved really by his relationship with Brandon. It all kind of comes full circle. So
that is really, really cool.
Yeah.
And so you grew up really appreciating the comics and all the different heroes and all the people involved. You even sent a couple of these cool things along. Maybe you can tell us about them.
Yeah. So Techno Man is a fictional character that I came up with for the movie. And it was really important to me that, we have like our original art and that we get something that we can use the way that we want that doesn't really exist. And so it's kind of neat. We found this artist, Travis Stevens, and it just was one of those cool things. I just chose the guy whose portfolio sort of most matched what I was looking for. But then we got to talking and he was kind of living the life of the main character in the film. So he was like an assistant manager at Walmart just months before, and he quit his job to pursue being a comic illustrator. So I was like, dude, you're the real life Mike. Like you were the guy who gave up plan B to go do plan A. And I thought, what a perfect person to be able to do these illustrations. And I think he did a really good job on them. It's bringing the character to life.
He sure did. I tell you. How long did it take to get things rolling, cameras rolling, and everybody on board from the idea first on paper, Jonathan?
Yeah. So I had written the script back in 2018, And I kind of sat on it because I'd written a number of scripts at the time, and it was just kind of, I waited to edit them a bit so I could really polish them, and then sent them all to contests. And I felt like I got the best response from Comic Shop. One especially, it's amazing. This is an example of what a difference one person can make, you know? So I'm reading this person's feedback, and I had been reading feedback on the other scripts, and you know how it goes. Some of it's negative. They didn't get it. And then this person is talking about how like every couple of years, a special script comes through. And I feel like this is that script. And they were so, you know, effusive with the praise that it gave me back that confidence that I felt like I had lost from reading some of the other comments. And that's when I started thinking, yeah, I think I want to make this movie. And we can do this. It's not, the budget isn't crazy. But yeah, that was kind of, you know, the writing part. And then when we decided to make the movie was total coincidence. I was trying to talk to the producers of my first film because it's not streaming anymore. So I want to see if we can get this all in order and get it back streaming. The distributor, you know, eventually sometimes passes it back to you, and you've got to go deal with it again. So I just happened to call him, and he said, you know, I'll be in Vegas next week if you want to grab lunch. And, you know, why not? That sounds fun. And so it wasn't really supposed to be a business lunch because I didn't have any business to discuss besides just 2 seconds of let's get this thing back on streaming. And so then he's asking about scripts, and I tell him about, he said, anything we can make. And I said, really just one that would be affordable. And so I tell him about it, and he's like, okay, let's do it. And I'm like, right now? Like, I really wasn't, you know, mentally thinking about that at all. And it was still, I mean, April 2022, we're still kind of coming out of the pandemic. It's that murky area where, is it over? Is it not? Like, we're going to be hit by another wave or what's going on?
Yeah.
And so then that kind of started a pretty fast process in some way. Like, let's get some feedback from the producers. Let's try to integrate, you know, what we can to make the script, you know, appealing to actors and to make sure this thing's gonna fly. But then casting takes forever. So we spent all summer long, and half the summer was waiting for one actor to say no, basically. I mean, he didn't say no, but he gave us a quote that was more than twice what we could have actually spent. So to me, that's like kind of no.
Right.
And then, you know, as it goes, like once Jesse said yes, I'll never forget that day because I'm not a morning person. So I think I got a call at like 8:50 and I was still asleep. And one of the producers is like, oh, good news. Jesse said yes. And, you know, when you're tired, you're like, who said what?
That sounds just like you.
Yeah, exactly. And so then it's kind of registering that, oh gosh, that means it's going to be 12, 16-hour days from now until, well, foreseeable future. And so it was pretty much like, okay, if we've got Jesse, we need the rest of the cast. Like, everyone is important in this, and let's just, you know, start going down. But then we got to start hiring production heads. And I told them, like, production design stuff needs to start immediately because we've got all these comic covers to make. We've got artwork on the back walls and all this world that we're trying to create, really. And if we're not going to use all that too, we need clearances. We need indie comics that we can put in the stores and legally show. And so it was a lot of prep.
That's amazing. It really is. Jesse, who's originally from southeastern Connecticut, is a great actor and been in so many things. Of course, Desperate Housewives, but lots more. What was it like bringing him on board?
So that was really interesting because I knew who he was, but I admit that I hadn't really seen him in a while. I had seen John Tucker Must Die because my wife loves that movie.
Right.
And when we started dating, she insisted I see, oh, how have you haven't seen John Tucker Must Die? And, you know, she's acting like it's like a classic. And I'm like, honestly, no, I haven't seen it. And to her generation, my wife's about 10 years younger. So for her, she talks to her friends and it is like a classic. Everybody's seen it. But I don't know. For me, it was like, the timing wasn't right. So I kind of remember him in that. And he plays kind of, you know, honestly, a dick character. So as soon as we cast him, then I started the homework, and then I started like, I'm going to watch. I don't care if I have to rent it or buy it. Everything that Jesse's done. I didn't go watch every Desperate Housewives episode. Honestly, I saw clips, and I was very aware of him from that. And then when you cast somebody, you start realizing with Tristan, same thing, where you're like, wait a minute, Jesse was in like 2 episodes of Smallville. I don't remember that, but it was like baby Jesse. And I watched Smallville when I was in college, so that I remember those episodes because I love that show. And I thought, oh, that's right, he was like the villain of the week kind of thing. And then with Tristan, I was absolutely obsessed with Alias. Like I think right after college, I remember finishing it so fast that when I watched the last episode, I almost thought of just watching it again because I was so depressed that it was over. And then I was like, that's not healthy. We'll just move on. There's lots of good stuff out there. But I guess, Tristan, you were in that show very young, right? You were like Dixon's daughter.
Yeah, I was his daughter. I was in 3 episodes, very small, but I was in there, and I loved that show.
That show's so good.
I love some Alias. Ooh, I wanted to be Jennifer Garner.
Yeah, I know. It was, yeah, she was so impressive in that. I mean, I think she speaks like 7 languages and fights in 5 different, combat skills. And
she's
22 years old or something.
It was amazing because there was no other shows like it. I think there was Dark Angel with Jessica Alba.
I love Dark Angel too.
Oh man, me too.
I was pretty obsessed with Dark Angel when it came out, especially like from James Cameron. Like that meant, of course, a lot. It still does, And
I always hoped that I'd be able to do the reboot one day for Dark Angel.
I can absolutely see that. It was funny because like little Jonathan was definitely into Jessica Alba and Dark Angel. I was like, okay, I don't know who this girl is. And then she really blew up after.
Oh yeah,
after
she was incredible. She was amazing.
Yeah, but yeah, the whole process with Jesse was interesting too because when you cast somebody, maybe you haven't seen as much. Like with Tristan, I had seen so many hours of work, and I'm like, no, this is perfect. Like she's this character. This is easy. And with Jesse, we're like, okay, he's a name actor. And I knew he was really good looking and a hunk and all this, but I'm like, oh gosh, I really hope he can act too. Like, I mean, he can, right? I'm sure he can. And then I watched all his work, and about halfway through, I'm like, honestly, this guy's a really good actor. It's not that every single project itself is good, but he always brings it in everything. And that was just really a relief to see. And I liked seeing something where I'm like, like Jesse in my mind hasn't gotten enough opportunities to show his range because, and he's alluded to this in interviews, when you are like the hunk, then you kind of get typecast as like, okay, we'll just put you in this role. But he can do it all. He can sing, he can play an instrument, he can act. I mean, he's a very talented guy. And so as soon as I, realized that, just sitting there watching, like, okay, we're gonna be good. Yeah. This is gonna be fun.
Look at that great photo.
I love that photo.
Yeah, tell us everybody that's in the photo, gang.
So that's Trevor Einhorn on the left, and he had about a 13, 14 episode arc on Mad Men, which is also one of my favorite shows. I love Mad Men. And he's our antagonist, but he is absolutely the nicest guy in person, just so fun and easygoing. And then it's our DP Ryan, our cinematographer. And Ryan is actually the one who paid for this cookie truck. It was just really nice. He paid for it out of his own money, just as like a kind of thank you to the cast and crew. And honestly, it was one of
there were cookies actually in there.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And he paid for all this, so we could just go up and get a cookie.
That is cool.
What did they have? Also, I think they had some drinks too. Yeah, they had like coffee or something like that.
It was coffee, cookies.
It was just really nice. I don't think I've like really at my level of doing work ever seen a crew person do anything like that, really. So but Brian's a really nice guy.
We needed it too, because I think that was like the last day of shooting, and we needed that.
it was, yeah. It was like last or second. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was the last, yeah, because it was at the nice location. You're right.
By the way, guys, I just want to butt in really quickly. I just posted that I was live right now on my Instagram, and I see a lot of people that I know in here tuning in.
Welcome, everybody. You are now all Jim Masters show lovities. You're all lovities. Good to have you with us.
Yeah, I see a lot of people I know. I see Shrek. I see Matt. I see Sharon. I saw you guys pop up.
Yeah, we see all these folks, and we see Kathleen in New York City, who is one of our regular lovedies, Sharon watching in Kansas, and Maureen in Arizona, Jane in Sweden, everybody. It is a wonderful marriage of so many terrific people, wouldn't you say,
Yeah.
gang? That's what the world needs, togetherness, right? Love and togetherness and good times. Hey, we have the Kathleen in New York City actually says, she's in Queens. We call her the Queen of Queens, Queens, New York. Glad to be here, Jim. Great show. She's loving it. Everybody's loving it.
Kathleen the Queen.
Maureen in Arizona. Welcome to all the new lovedies, you
Oh,
guys, as well as our viewers. And love you guys as well. Love coming back from everybody here. We have the trailer too. And then we have some more really cool behind
trailer.
the scenes photos that you guys sent along. Jonathan, did you want to set up the trailer at all or just show it and talk about it after?
I think I say we just play it. Yeah.
Run it.
Play it. There it is. All right. Here's the trailer for the comic shop. You're going to love it. Tristan's in it and Jesse Metcalfe's in it. And Micah Giovanni, we're going to talk about him in just a second as well. Take a look, gang, and enjoy.
I've never seen this.
An exclusive on the Jim Mouster.
Handle the comics with care. Welcome to the store. I'm Mike. This is Alex.
Mr. D'Angelo. I'm just making sure you received that notice I sent you.
What notice?
Your lease is up next month. Inflation.
Mike, check this out. Wild Imagination Comics just opened up down the street.
I think we should go check out that other comic shop. See how the other half lives.
I'm Chad. My dad owns the company. You know, we're hiring. You know anybody who's interested? It's the only comic store in town.
What about Mike's world?
Not much to see though, unless you're Mike.
Okay, I've seen enough. Let's get out of here before I throw up.
Honestly, Mike, I think you need some new customers.
Tell me something I don't know. Hey, kid.
What are those? Those are really good.
You know, I was an illustrator for about 5 minutes.
Think you could teach me to draw like that?
Tell you what, you build me a kick-ass website, I'll help you learn to draw.
Deal.
How was your day, son?
Mom and I found a really cool comic book store.
You know, the kid's fun to have around. He's really making an impact around here.
I just don't understand why you keep encouraging this comic book thing.
I just wish my dad understood how I feel. I don't even think he likes me. Why are we sitting in a parking lot to draw?
I wanted to show you that inspiration can come from anywhere. The dog is an alien beast with a whip.
Wow.
Hey, look, it's Mike from Mike's World. Going on a business sale here, Mike?
I think each person needs to follow their own unique path. And otherwise, you'll just be wondering what if. And being a small business owner was never my passion. That's my plan B. Seriously, you just work hard and you'll get your chance. Never have a plan B. Haircut, bitch. Yeah, that's true.
Hey.
Bravo. Nice. That is very, very slick. Well done. We see Micah Giovanni in there as well. Tell us a little bit about Micah for folks who might not be aware of him. He's quite talented and he's a rising star as well, huh?
He's my best.
Yeah, Micah was great. And you know, I said from the start of this project, I was like, okay, we should be able to get somebody really good as Mike. I mean, you know, we have the resources to do that, right? And our Alex is going to be great, but we need a really good young actor, and that might be really tough. I mean, it might be tough to go through and how can we find somebody who's like not as well known and be excited to do this role, but would really be good at it. And I couldn't have been more pleased with having Micah. He just really embodies the character, and it was kind of funny. Tristan knows we never had really any directing advice for him as far as like changing performance. It was always like, Micah, speak up. That was the only thing. So eventually you'd start to walk towards him and he wouldn't have to say anything. He'd be like louder and you'd be like, and then you just turn around and go back because he was so natural. you know?
It's very natural.
And I do think, you know, Jesse has a very, he projects, you know, he's a very booming voice. So that can overpower a bit. But that also works for the character. You know, Micah he's shy and he's, you know, I wanted to make sure we got somebody who looks believable as a high school student. And I kept telling casting over and over, please do not send me. They send me a 28-year-old who looked 28, if not 30. I'm like, no one's going to believe this is a high school kid. And I said, and more than that, you're going to make a hypocrite of me, because I sit there on the couch whining about this all the time and saying, oh, what, these people aren't in high school. I mean, and so I don't want to do the same thing in my movie that I complain about in other movies. And Micah looks, I think he really does look like he's 15, 16 in it. He was 20.
Was he really? Wow.
Yeah. And it was also just so nice and fun to work with. Like Tristan and I had a lot of fun just hanging out with him, joking with him. And I do think it's sometimes funny because I would sometimes make a joke to him and I could tell I felt basically like a boomer sometimes. Like you forget because he is so mature, but at the same time, like it's a different kind of sense of humor.
Totally. He's so funny. He's my bestie, by the way. We still hang out.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I know.
So cool. Sounds like you guys had so much fun on set as well, huh?
We did.
Good time.
Oh yeah.
It was a blur. It went by so fast.
I know.
Tell us what we're seeing here, Jonathan.
I think we were seeing, if Tristan recalls, I think we were seeing right before disaster on day one.
Oh, yeah, that was day one. I had just gotten there. That was my first scene.
Yep. And we had camera problems that day.
There were camera problems. We couldn't shoot anything.
No.
But I did get to wear my shades that I wear all the time.
Which is cool.
As my character, which is amazing. So thank you, Jonathan, for that.
Oh, yeah. So this is probably one of my favorite little Tristan stories that first day. Because it sucked, and I was so embarrassed because we were using a brand new camera. Really, it was the Alexa 35 that just came out in the summer, and we were one of the few productions to actually have access to that because you know a couple of the producer and the DP each owned a camera. So I guess that our local producer Josh, rest in peace, he died shortly after filming, unfortunately, but he had bought like off-brand battery stuff. And I've learned from experience, just buy the brand stuff. It's more expensive, but it does work.
Reliability and durability, yeah.
Yeah, and we cannot keep this camera on. It will turn on and then it turns off 10 seconds in. And, you know, and we had shot Jesse's coverage first. And now we're shooting Tristan and we got one take of Tristan. That is it for that scene. And we had to pull the plug. We had to spend like 2 hours down, get new batteries to come in. We did figure out the issue eventually with tech support and all this. But at that point, we lost the location. And I told Tristan, we'll try to come back to it, but the schedule is so tight. I have to look at that one take and see if we can make it work because that's indie filmmaking. And Tristan nailed every single part of her take, which I was like, thank you, God. Because we really did not have time to go back and reshoot it. So when you see her side of it, like there was no coverage. There were no other options. I had to do it.
It was just sort of like,
issues. Like I don't think you can tell in the movie at all. Like she was so great. She always knew her lines and
even just you reliving it tears her up. See,
something's going on. I'm like, what's going on?
She's getting very emotional, Jonathan, about the comic shop.
I think one of my favorite things about Tristan, which I don't know that I'm sure because Tristan, you work with a lot of actors, so you do see how it goes. But most actors I work with, if you come to them and be like, "Oh, do you need another take?" Like the answer is pretty much always yes. Which who can blame them, right? They want to keep trying to see if they can better their own performance. But at the same time, it's like we don't really always have the time. So I appreciate the honesty of somebody being like, no, I that's it. I felt like I nailed it, and I'm good. And Tristan would always be really funny like that. We would do like 2 or 3 takes, and like, Tristan, how do you feel? And she's like, oh, I'm good. That was great. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm good if she's good. So moving on.
Yeah.
So there was always like she has that confidence, and she should, because it always came across very natural. And
This is a nice family photo of sorts, huh?
I want to add a little something to that, Jonathan, because that was good what you just said. That really comes from years of experience of knowing that, you know, when you're on a set, especially one that moves that fast, you really have to make every take count, because you never know when they're going to say, all right, moving on, or, oh, the camera's broken, we're done, or you can't really afford to do a bad take. You know, you can't really, at least what I've learned, especially growing up, you know, even though I was on a lot of stuff growing up, most of those Nickelodeon and Disney things that you see, I was just guest starring. I was the new girl who was coming in with an established cast and established, you know, time, that they were moving fast. And they really want to save majority of their time for the leads who are on the show. And when you're coming in as a guest star or a new person, they want to give you 1 or 2 takes and move on to give the other person all the time. I pretty much learned my lessons back in the day. If I don't get it, that's going to be the take that they use, and I'm not going to be happy with it. And that can actually affect your entire career. So
that's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. So I learned to try my best to make every single take count when I have the opportunity. And MacGyver taught me the same thing as well. Even though on that show I was the lead, I still always realized that whenever I didn't do my best on a take, that would seem to be the one that they used, that they would air. And even though it might be great to everyone else, I would know that I could have said that line better. I could have kept eye contact. I could have said that a little bit louder, a little bit clearer. And Jonathan, you mentioned that Jesse's very good at projecting. My voice is different. My voice has a different tone. And sometimes, strangely enough, even though I think I sound loud, it can sometimes get buried somehow. And even though I'll think I'm talking perfectly fine, I'll hear it on TV, and everyone else's voices will still be louder than mine. So I also had to learn over the years how to project, you know, because it's very important. But yeah, definitely making every take count is how I got there, Jonathan.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like I said, being on MacGyver, I would always learn that if I didn't do my best, that's always a take they're going to use. So I learned really quickly after about season 2. It took me 2 seasons to get it. That like, okay, make every single take count. That way you're happy with every take that they use. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was tired of being disappointed by stuff and picking out stuff. And I was like, I want to get to a point where I don't look at this and say I could have did that better. And it's still a work in progress.
Are you hard on yourself?
I'm hard on myself, but I also just want to constantly get better.
Yeah.
So I make sure to watch myself, and I watch other actors who I've seen just improve over the years, and I want to see like what they did to get there. And
right.
So I try my best to do those same things, you know.
So you'll watch things that you've done and sort of review it, because there are some actors and actresses who, even when the thing is completed and it's in the theaters or wherever it is, or a TV show, they will never watch their stuff. I think Johnny Depp said that once. He does it and he's detached and he's done. I've always liked to watch my stuff that I've done on television and elsewhere, because not, you know, look at me, but I want to see what the producers were saying. If they said, gee, you knocked it out of the park, you were really good, I love the way you did this or that. I want to see it I want to be removed from the emotion of it, which is what you have as you're doing it. And probably for at least 24, 48 hours after you've done it, you're still on that high, you're still revved. I like to detach from it and look at it objectively. What did the producer see? What does the viewer see? And almost watch it through their eyes, because I think it sort of helps you perfect, tweak, get better at it. And I've always done that, pulled out even older tapes of things I've done on TV and elsewhere, and looked at it now, removed from it, and said, you know, actually under those conditions with that level of experience, that was pretty good. I did pull that off. I didn't nail that or what have you, but you got to be removed from the emotion of it and the self expectation that we all put on our shoulders as we're doing the work. But I think it's a great thing when you review your material and you just want to see different nuances that maybe you'll tweak, or maybe it's so good you'll keep it in your repertoire, right?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I can't speak for everyone, but for me, that's the only way I can improve if I watch myself. If I don't know what I did, I'm just going to keep making the same mistakes. And there's something about that. I feel like every actor, or a lot of actors, like to say that. It's kind of trendy to say that, I believe, but I don't really know if it's the truth, because they're always at the screenings, they're at their premieres, they're in the audience.
Yeah.
They're at Cannes Film Festival, standing up for their 9-minute standing ovations. So they're
red carpet. Yep.
They're watching their work at least once. And you know.
I think if you see it too many times, though, I mean, it's like we just came back from the Orlando Film Festival, and I was really looking forward to the screening on Saturday night, and I was really not looking forward to the screening on Monday night because I've already seen this movie like 200
Right.
times.
Oh yeah, well, you're part of editing, you know.
Yeah, and
True.
so I was just like, oh man, I have to watch this again. And our editor was there on Saturday, and one of my best friends was there, and they both left Monday morning. So then I'm just like sitting in the theater alone, and then you have these weird intrusive thoughts like, okay, don't yawn, because if anybody looks at you, I mean,
Right. Yes.
and it's like, well, it's okay for me to be bored. I've seen the movie 200 times. Like anything you watch that many times, you're like, your mind's gonna.
Oh, trust me, there's definitely some stuff that I can't watch anymore at this point. But
yeah,
I do like to, you know, watch the product at least once or twice and just constantly improve. You know,
Exactly.
And you know, being an actor is like you're constantly having to exercise your craft. If you're an athlete, you got to practice, you got to train, you got to still go to the gym. You can't expect to just be the same, just showing up every day without practicing and getting better, getting stronger.
You know, the athlete, that's such a good point too, because I see nowadays, this wasn't like this, Jim, when we were, you know, all younger, but they will, like in hockey especially, they miss a shot and they'll hand them an iPad when they hit the bench and they'll look at like, how did they miss the shot? Where was the opening? I mean, it's immediate. Like they're reviewing what they're doing all the time. And that is how you improve, because otherwise you're like, I have no idea how I missed. I thought it was a great shot. I don't know.
Instant replay.
Instant replay.
It's changed some calls every once in a while, right?
Right. But it is so fun. I don't know what kind of I think they have their own advanced stuff that they feed to the players on the iPad just so they can get that feedback. And I would imagine it's the same with acting where, you know, of course, so you have to be careful because on set, you know, Tristan, how that goes. Like sometimes once an actor starts seeing their playback, then they get self-conscious and then they want to see all the playback after every single take. So we usually try to keep the actors away from Video Village, like where the monitors are. But there are times where it's valuable. With Tristan, I really trusted her, to be honest. And I think some actors, they never like what they see. It could always be better. And with Tristan, she would just say, like, she'd see me like, if we have time, I'd like to do it once more. I'm like, yeah, we have time, let's do it. Or she'd be like, no, I'm happy. That's good. And I'm like, okay, if she's happy, let's move on. That's much better than every single time, oh, I want more.
Yeah.
Because we just may not have the advantage of that.
Yeah, exactly. If you're doing your own productions and I'm doing my own stuff, I like making sure I get it enough times because it's my time, my finances going into it. But when it's on someone else's time, you know, I try to respect that. And also it's, you know, we're on the beam now. We gotta get it. We can't do 12 takes and mess up 12 takes. Like, let's have our learned, you know, let's have our lines learned, what we're gonna do, and be ready to go.
Yes,
exactly.
And a good AD, hopefully, to who we've communicated with to figure out what are the scenes that are so important that we need to take more time. Like we want to have 8 takes because this scene is like an emotional centerpiece of the movie. And then what scenes are that are like a little more perfunctory, that we have to have this scene, but and it should be good, but it's not that emotional. We don't need to belabor it for a million takes.
Exactly. And that's a word you never want to foul up on the air, perfunctory.
Yes.
I know that as a broadcast guy. There's a few words you never want to slip up on. Got some more great shots here. Look at this shot. Tell us what we're seeing here, gang.
You were seeing.
Yeah, go ahead, Tristan.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I haven't even talked about my character yet for this.
Yeah, tell us about the character and you know the storyline. We saw the trailer, but if people are still trying to say, okay, what is this about? Who's it for? You know, what's the audience? Tell us about it. Yeah.
You know what? I do kind of feel like in a way we plucked Riley right out of a show and threw her into this movie, but my character from MacGyver. But I will say that. This character had a lot of traits that were like mine personally. Alex is a girl that is working in a place that's comfortable for her. You know, she loves comics. She loves helping people. Helping people is probably her biggest thing. But one thing I did notice about Alex, which is much like myself, is that she will not sacrifice her own happiness to help someone else. When she knows it's time to move on, she'll move on because she chooses herself at the end of the day. So yeah, there's lots of traits like hers that remind me of myself. And you know, we'll do whatever we can to help someone, but we can only go so far. If it starts to affect us personally, we gotta choose us. And I think a lot of us should do that more in real life.
Right.
But yeah,
Boundaries. Yeah.
she was a lot like myself in that sense, and I wanted to explore that with her. But at the end of the day, she's a cool girl that's funny. She's got a sense of humor. She's there to keep Jesse's character, Mike, you know, positive, keep him feeling good, you know, check in on him because he's kind of disgruntled, you know, he's losing his comic shop. Things are not going too well, but she's that one person that can kind of bring that light and that joy and, you know, of course, try to keep our customers in that we have and not run them off. And yeah, it's I'm excited to see people's reactions to the character. And
that's cool.
Yeah,
it's really cool stuff.
Yeah,
it's another great shot here. Jonathan, what do we have here?
Oh, so this was actually at the Comic-Con sort of scene.
Yes.
When Mike and Brandon go to San Diego Comic-Con to kind of offload old inventory to bring in the new stuff. And so this is just me with Trevor Einhorn and Jesse. Trevor, he's only in that one scene that you see a little bit in the trailer where he basically just goes and insults Mike pretty much. I like this picture. This is just funny. I don't know if Jesse's preparing for the next scene or annoyed at something I said.
You know what he's doing? He's doing what Olympian Steven Nadarazic, the vaulter, did in the Olympics, leaning back, thinking about what he has to do next. Do you see him in the Olympics? The vaulter that got us the bronze.
Oh yeah.
And now he's dancing in Dancing with the Stars right now on ABC, Steven Nadarazic. And he would do that where he closes his eyes and he has his glasses on and then so maybe Jesse was in a moment.
I like your interpretation better than
what was really happening. We got to do this again.
Maybe I said something that annoyed him, and then it was just like,
and that's Jesse with Micah, right?
And this is in his comic shop, which is intentionally much shoddier looking. And this scene is. I think just before the signing, they're doing like a special signing in the store.
Yeah.
And so he's just goofing around.
I forgot, there are some people that we want to mention also sort of making cameos in this. Eric Roberts, legendary actor. He was just a guest on our show a couple of weeks ago with his lovely wife, Eliza. And if anybody wants to see that episode, it's archived on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Eric, of course, a brilliant, brilliant actor known for so many things. Of course, Emma, the daughter, Julia Roberts, the sister, just a lineage of incredible talent. But Carrot Top as well, Scott Carrot Top Thompson here, huh? You can't go wrong with Carrot Top.
I didn't get to meet him. I'm sad about that.
He was great, and he is great. Just even I ran into him actually at a Italian restaurant a couple months after filming.
Was that in Las Vegas?
Yeah,
he's got a long residency in Vegas, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think
goes on for years.
He's over in Summerlin. I think his residency's been about 17 years. I could be wrong.
Which is unbelievable for Las Vegas. Yes.
But he has a great show, and it was kind of funny because you know how it goes. I'm sure he meets so many people. And so I kind of came up as we were leaving. He's hard to miss, with the hair. And so I saw him from behind, and then I took a look back, and my wife just kept walking. She walked right out to the parking lot. And I stopped, and I was like, hey, Scotty. And he looks at me for a second like, who is this? And I was like, Jonathan, comic shop. And then it registers. He's like, oh, yeah, how is everything? How's the editing? And he's a really nice guy and so funny. He basically improv that whole scene. I did not have anything written.
That's amazing.
It was just
his improv is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I knew the basic idea of what we wanted. I do think it's funny because we kind of put in the more PG version. I know it's not totally there, but of his scene. The first couple takes, it was after they stuff that, but we were all dying of laughter. So they were very funny, but it was like maybe it's a little too much for the scene. And, funny, I still got to get to this, but I just bought Eric Roberts' book.
Oh, his autobiography, huh?
I got like the signed copy, his guns. So
these look
Cool
I
stuff,
haven't
isn't
read
it?
it yet. I've just been so busy, but I was really excited to read that, and he was great as well.
And there's another shot with Carrot Top and Jesse Metcalfe, and
That hair is amazing.
I think everyone else also had even more fun with Eric. I was uptight that day, and he likes to joke, but he does it very deadpan. So I wasn't sure he was joking.
he does, doesn't he?
Yeah. And so he comes he was about 5 hours early for the scene. And he goes, okay, well, I got to be out of here in like 45 minutes. So, are we going soon? And I turned over to AD and I'm like, is he joking? He's way early. We can't rearrange this. So I'm freaking out. And then he's like, relax. He does that on every movie. He always jokes to the director. And so actually I saw on Reddit later, people saying, oh, on your shoot, did he do the thing about, and I was like, oh man, I fell for every one of them. He got me on all of them, but he was really nice.
That's why he's an actor, right?
Yeah. And very talented.
Very talented. Yeah.
He just has such good instincts that what he can do with a kind of, fairly mundane dialogue.
Exactly.
That we were in, and he made it one of the better scenes of the movie. So that was, I always still like watching that scene, and I've seen it so many times. I still laugh.
He did his thing, and Eric did as well.
Absolutely. Some great shots here behind the scenes that are being seen exclusively here on our show. Appreciate you guys sending these. It's cool stuff we're seeing here, huh?
Yeah. Actually, so my wife took all the behind the scenes
photos. She did the photography? Oh, that's great.
Yeah, my wife's a wedding photographer, but also interior design, really anything that needs to be shot. And so I kind of roped her into it. She was very sweet and very supportive, but it isn't necessarily how she wanted to spend 3 weeks of time. Unpaid.
So this we were showing earlier. This is a great shot of the group.
Yeah, that's a really good shot. That
was this like a rap situation, or
no? This was like a 6-hour dinner table scene. That
it was.
I really hate shooting tables. I've decided if there's 2 people, it's fine. Yeah. Once you get to 6, then you start figuring out okay, do we need her to him? And then cover for both, or can we cover it in a 3-shot or something?
So you can only imagine how they mastered it every week with Blue Bloods on CBS, because they always had that family dinner scene with all of them at the table eating and talking about the day. And
dinner tables are rough. You almost do want to do. I saw a movie the other day. It was about a $50,000 movie, very acclaimed film actually for a sci-fi movie. Had the guy, I'm sorry, I forget his name, but played Xander on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I love Xander. He was great. Buffy's permanently friend zoned. So this movie just basically was dinner table and just moves the camera around. Forget any sort of attempt at coverage. Just whoever's talking, just move it. And I was like, well, that works on a budget, But yeah, that I felt like we were at that dinner for forever. And there were other funny stories. Remember, Tristan, when Micah kept eating the lasagna, and then our props runs in, he's like, "Stop eating the props! Stop eating the props!"
It was really good.
And Micah's like, "It's really good," and we're like, "Yeah, but we don't have unlimited lasagna."
We were starving.
Yeah.
He was getting hungry.
I was on a commercial shoot in New York once, and I was one of the actors, and there was this young lady who was playing somebody it was for a pharmaceutical and some sort of a medicine or something. And she had the pill in her hand, and they had to retake several times because they wanted to get different lighting, different angles, close-ups, 3/4 of her taking the pill, this brand name medicine, and, swallowing it and doing the water. And after, when we were having a break, we were at craft services table and we were dining, everybody was chatting, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. This is a fun shoot, loving it, working with the directors, good people. They were asking her, what was it like to have that pill and just hold there all the time and keep doing it? And she said, I know. I can't believe that they're having me constantly, swallow these things. Then they're like, what? You're not supposed to swallow those pills, 15 pills. no, you're supposed to, there's a way that it looks like you're doing it, but you're not doing it.
Oh,
And it's like,
oh, no.
you
Now
know,
you tell me, right? That's what you're saying.
now you tell me, since I'm on a stretcher, it's like, so it sounds like it was a fun set, Tristan, Jonathan, working with Jesse and Micah and Eric and Carrot Top and the crew. It sounds like you guys really had a good time with it, huh?
I think we had a really good time. I mean, of course, when you have a 15-day shoot, you know, there are those stressful times.
Yeah.
But we actually finished early a lot of days, which was kind of surprising. I mean, I do remember like there was one time where, so if you're like the first AD, you can pretty much tell everybody to be quiet. You can go yell at anyone you want, but there's probably about 2 people you can't yell at, and that's the director and the lead actor, like your star of the show or whatever. And so Jesse and I can't remember what it is. I think I showed him something funny on my phone, and we were both just, you know, that when you're sleep deprived and you're laughing, and then the other person laughing makes you laugh harder, and we just were basically losing it. And so I could tell that our AD wanted to tell us like, okay, we're ready, like shut up and, you know, go make your movie or whatever. But he's just kind of like looking over at us, waiting for it to.
How long did it take to actually shoot it from start to finish when you knew it was done?
Well, so it was 15 days of actual production. No pickups were needed or anything like that. You know, we had our ADR day. Tristan, didn't you only have about like 15 minutes of ADR or something? Like you were quick with that. But yeah, so only about 3 weeks, and then, you know, into post we went, which really did take a long time. Like you saw in the trailer, one of the effect shots. There's a couple more things like that, and it's not that they should be that difficult, but when you have a very small budget, then what you do is you just kind of like ask people like, can we do this around your schedule? If you have money to throw at the problem, you can make it happen like nothing. But on indie film, you're like, okay, well, I guess we'll just wait, you know, because we don't have the money. So we'll give you what we can, and you fit it in on your schedule. And then of course, I do feel like people say a lot that you get 95% there, and then the last 5% takes a really long time because there's always a tweak. I mean, even now, I know there's one mistake in the credits. It's not a big, it's a missing hyphen, but like I did notice it when I watched it twice, and I'm like, I should have caught that before. But as long as no one's name is spelled wrong,
we don't care about that.
so I actually feel like that was something I tried to do because the producers kept sending it, and I'm like, guys, like, I mean, honestly, Jesse's name is spelled wrong on one of the first credit takes.
Nice.
And I'm like,
too many S's or not enough S's?
I think it was like with an extra I thrown in or something like, or maybe Metcalfe was spelled wrong.
Metcalfe without the E.
I just kind of like, guys, like, how do we not notice that our lead actress name is spelled wrong? So I tried to
SSE, and it's not an I, right? There's no I in the name.
Right. And
different.
So I try to watch for that because I know how much that it honestly would really stink if you were like, let's say you're a grip or a PA, and no one's really like looking at
your big moment to see your name.
Yeah, right. You want to see your name, and then you show your family, and it's like, oh, well, they didn't get my name right. Like I worked my butt off on this movie for 3 weeks, so I try to compare it to the list that we have, and just be looking at each one and be like, okay, this seems right. And looking at the credits a million times is not fun, but it is important because this is how you honor the people who worked on your movie and worked so hard for you. So.
Right. Well, at least it wasn't like the last name Walters or something, and it was spelled Wojciechowicz. that would be very noticed.
Right.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of work as well, Jonathan, too. And I mentioned in the introduction something else that you did. This one.
Oh yeah.
Amy Allison fans.
I know. In the intro, I realized. So okay, full disclosure, I worked for most of the last 3 days getting my own. As we did more corporate stuff on the main, all my work got pushed off the corporate site because my sales lady's like, well, this isn't really helpful for us as far as business goes. But it's kind of like hurtful to hear. You're like, yeah, no, you're right. But so I was realizing that there were some things wrong in that bio. I think I've now played in over 50 festivals. And I can say that my short that I had done before did not win anything. So all my projects had won something before that short. But yeah, what can you do? So the first feature film, same producers, and we had connected after they had done a pretty big movie, All's Fair in Love, with Christina Ricci and Cedric the Entertainer and Margaret. Good cast of that movie. And they just kind of had a little time as they were waiting between getting this movie finished and then moving on to the next thing. And we did this tiny $250,000 movie. I think it did end up being about $285, but and yeah, it was a romantic comedy. Really fun. Josh Sussman from Glee, and he's also been in a number of things. So he's decent friends with Sean Baker, who of course is getting all the attention for Honora this year, and he's in I'm blanking on the name, but in one of Sean Baker's movies, he's the guy who throws up in the back of the taxi. And he really does throw up. Like, we were just texting about it because I said, boy, it looks so realistic. How'd they do that? And he's like, oh, it was. He's like, I ate a bunch of waffles, drank a bunch of alcohol, and then I actually threw up in the scene. I'm like, well, I guess that's dedication, but kind of disgusting.
Yeah, part of the routine, right? Wow.
So he was another one. Working with him, he almost didn't want to say the script most of the time, because he's so funny. He loved improving the scenes. And so if we had 7 takes, all 7 of them would be different. And it was only in the last one I'd be like, okay, Josh, seriously, I think everything you did is better than what I wrote. But could we get it once, like the script, just so we have it? And we ended up usually using one of his improvs. Just a funny guy to be around. And in the first movie, I wouldn't recommend trying this at home, but the lead actor and lead actress who were dating in the movie were real life boyfriend, girlfriend as well. And then they broke up before the premiere of the movie. So what can you do?
I know that happened just before the premiere.
Yeah. So then how do I handle that? Because I don't want to show any favoritism, but if they're each sitting at different parts of the theater with their entourages, then do I just not sit next to anybody? Because I don't want to show favoritism, or do I just say, okay,
don't give them any popcorn in case they throw it across the.
Right? They were very professional, but she quit acting not that long after that, which did not help the movie very much because she was the star ostensibly. I mean, she was Amy Allison. And Brendan is still active. He's doing tons of stuff, really exciting stuff. But a lot of talented people, to work with that. And we had an even tighter schedule. We had 12 days on that movie. We did
12 days?
Yeah, we did do pickups. So we did probably, I think it was 1 full day of pickups and 3 half days. So it kind of did work out to probably being similar, like 14 and a half days. But with that tiny budget, you're doing even more. I felt like I did a lot on the comic shop, but I was like the video game stunt double on Amy Allison fans. Because if you can believe it, as much as Josh Sussman looks like he'd be the ultimate gamer, his parents didn't let him play video games. He'd never played a video game in his life. And he's supposed to be amazing at it in the movie. So I'm asking any of the grips, PAs, anyone. Can anyone play Gears of War? And everyone's like, can't play it. And so I'm really good at Gears.
Okay.
It's my favorite franchise. So I basically held the controller off screen while directing the scene and was like, I call myself the video game stunt double.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you get a little smug after the scene. You're like, and who said video games wouldn't be useful? All those hours I spent gaming actually did pay off professionally. But no, it was a lot of fun. It was one of the most fun parts of making that movie, I think.
That's cool. Really, really cool. What are some other things you guys have coming up that you're excited about? Tristan, what do you have coming up down the pike that you might want to share or that you're working on?
You know what? I wish I knew. I don't really have anything on the horizon right now, acting-wise, besides Comic Shop and another indie film I did called Bang. So yeah, hoping that changes soon. It's been a little bit different since after the strike, but
But true, things still taking. Yeah, you had the pandemic, and then the things ramping up, and then the strike, and then People are asking, where can they see this film, this movie?
Right. So we have a distributor, but they're shopping the movie now. So it's their job to find us like a suitable streaming home.
So you're hoping for like an Amazon or a
Yeah.
Tubi or any of the...
Yeah, so it's Quiver distribution. I'm not sure if I'm really supposed to say that, but oh well, they won't watch it. So
They won't quiver.
No, Quiver distributes to like anywhere from Showtime and Netflix to Hulu, and Amazon, and a lot of movies with like really big actors they've distributed.
So it's being shopped, which for the viewers, if they don't know, means that you're presenting it to various opportunities, right?
Right. Yeah, and so they'll try to find it a home. I would not at all be surprised if it works the way it looks like so many movies do. I will see a movie that says leaving Amazon, and a week later, there it is on Netflix.
Yeah.
And since I have every streaming service, I feel like I'm just watching them move around the neighborhood.
Yeah, definitely. That's how we do
It's
it.
really funny, but
Is it something where it would be in any smaller or independent theaters or anything too?
Not that we've so I think Quiver is mainly interested in streaming, but
Yeah.
I have heard it's cheaper than ever to distribute now to theaters. Terrifier 3 was such a good example of that, and they spent $500,000 on publicity, and I hear it costs about $100,000 now to get it in a bunch of theaters, which blows my mind because it's all digital. And what did Terrifier 3 make? Like $20 million the first weekend, just on $500,000 promo spend. It's just crazy.
That is incredible. What do you have coming up, Jonathan, as well, in addition to the comic shop?
So kind of similar to Tristan, like I definitely, I need comic shop to do well, to be able to take the next steps and get the next opportunities. But you also don't want to just wait for that. Like, so I've been working on a couple of scripts. I've got one that's kind of another drama, but I've got another one that's like a horror film, almost like psychological horror. So I've been doing a lot of research on that. Like research is fun though for film sometimes. Like my wife gave me all these books on, I don't know, like what do you want to say, like woo-woo stuff, like spirituality.
Yeah,
and
sure.
So the idea is kind of like focused on taking wellness too far, like to the point of making it a cult. And so, you go on this retreat, like wellness retreat. And
those are great. Yeah.
And, you start realizing as the weekend goes on, like something isn't right here. And so, of course, a lot of things like this sounds funny, but I kind of got obsessed with the whole Jonestown stuff. So I watched like a fiction movie on that, a couple documentaries, and just to see like, how do these cults form and
develop and
like how do people really get into this and buy into this and feel like they're on the right side? Like nobody knows they're really in a cult. If they knew that, they would leave, so they think no, it's not a cult, it's a very good group of supportive people who come together and
very holistic, spiritual. Right. They unplug. Everybody needs ways to unplug and reboot and get away from it all. How do you, Tristan, unplug, shut it all off, take care of yourself, and then come back out of the gate to take on the next challenge? What do you do?
Well, sometimes it's video games. I love to spend time with my dog. I love to be outside in nature. I love to spend time making my charcuterie boards and other things that make me happy, spending time with family. That's really the only way that I can bounce back, if I have all those things. And I also really love peace and quiet. I love to just get away and just get quiet time to myself to bounce back. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Are you also artistic in the way that your mother is?
I'm not artistic in the same ways. I have other ways. I love home design. So actually have a studio in Glendale that I rent out to production companies to do short films and student films and things like that, photo shoots, video shoots at a studio that I have in LA. And I've designed that place to look like a haunted house inside. So it gets a lot of really cool photo shoots and video shoots shooting in there. So yeah, there's home design. And then of course, not only my charcuterie boards, but there's other things too, but I'm definitely not a painter the way she is. She does incredible portraits and all types of incredible paintings. I can't quite do that, but I can attend her paint and sip parties and at least paint those small paintings.
That is so cool.
That's awesome.
I tell you, this really is exciting stuff with the comic shop.
Yeah.
Did you have a viewer in mind when you put it together? Or was this for somebody? Is it somebody who's like a super fan of that genre, or would anybody enjoy this film?
You know, I didn't think so. I thought the people who would really like this movie are probably somewhere around my age, like anywhere from 30 to 50, 55, who are kind of like, they're doing a job that maybe they're good at, maybe they make money at, but it kind of feels like something's missing. Like, you know, that when you're younger and you're so passionate about something, and it could be anything. It doesn't have to be comics, it doesn't have to be filmmaking. It could be singing. It could be working for a nonprofit that you're passionate about. And I think what I was hoping is that when somebody sees this movie in that kind of position, that they get the idea, like, remember, it's not too late. Like, you can have a second act. People live for a long time. And if you transition to a new career when you're 40, 45, you don't know that you're not going to live till 100. You could be working that job for a long time. And I feel like we get in a society where you think that once you chose what you're going to do and you're a couple years in, that's it. You're on that freeway for the rest of your life. There's no offering. And I don't think that's true. I think there's a lot of people who have made successful transitions to something that they want to do. And so it's kind of like, follow that passion, you know. As far as the people who maybe that doesn't, you know, work for them as well, I think there's a nostalgia play in the movie. Like, I definitely do. Like, it has that feeling. It reminds me even of when I was younger, and I loved going to the comic shops, and I went with my mom a lot, and it was fun times, and they're still around. Like, I didn't know for sure until we made this movie. I know it sounds bad, but I wasn't sure how many real comic shops are around, or if people just got digital or they bought them online. And there are actually
more than record shops, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's been a comeback a bit of that kind of thing, because people enjoy, yes, being able to actually browse a place and not just sit on Amazon. I love Amazon, but it's not the best for browsing. It's better for finding something you know specifically what you want, like 16 terabyte hard drive, bam, order. But going into a comic store and being able to actually pick up these beautiful works of art and look at them, I think there's something special about that. So I do hope that comic fans will enjoy it as well, and kind of be like, yes, these places are here and we go there. And
yeah, it's still a thing. It's still a thing. We
of all the funny things, one of the people who liked my first movie the most, I mean, he was back there just laughing the whole time, was my dad's like head of construction. My dad does real estate. And so he loved the first movie, and I thought, well, I hope he likes the second. He hasn't seen it, but he's about 60 years old, and he goes to comic shops every single week. His wife was like, oh, he's going to love this movie, because every Friday he goes to the comic shop. And I was like, really? Like, I know he just didn't really fit the profile of what I was thinking of for that. And so we started talking, and I was like, okay, this will be up your alley. So those are also audience members I think will like it. But I hope everybody can get a little something out of it. I mean, Tristan, what do you think as far as, like, if I missed a segment? Like, I hope it's enjoyable for me.
Well, you know, it's a family-friendly, wonderful feeling movie. It's a feel-good movie, and also there's a lot of things people can relate to in it. And also, it kind of just reopens the world of comic books again. I think it's kind of a lost thing that's kind of been hidden away. I think it needs to be talked about again, because I would say, me just being out there and getting to spend time in those comic book stores, I learned so much that I didn't know, you know?
Yeah.
It was, you know, my parents didn't buy me comic books growing up. They bought me other kinds of books, so I didn't know much about the whole world until I started doing this movie.
Right.
I found out about so many awesome superheroes, so many amazingly talented illustrators that need to have their work shown.
Yeah.
And the craziest part is, you know, we see a lot of Marvel movies and movies about superheroes and stuff like that. There are some superheroes in these comic books that aren't talked about yet, but if they had their own movies, everything. It would change everything.
It's incredible.
It's neat too, because so one of the things in 2018 that I bought for research, I asked the guy at the store, help me select some indie comics off the mainstream kind of stuff that people are talking about, like artistically crafted, and a lot of them, there's companies that cater to LGBTQ issues. Like these writers are trying to target a certain group that hasn't really been targeted as much in the past. Not that things like X-Men weren't very friendly to it, but it wasn't made for that audience. So that was kind of neat. And he gave me this book called Paper Girls, and it was really good. So I remember like flipping through it, and I didn't follow the whole thing, but like I read the one he gave me. And then years later, I can't remember if it was a couple of years ago, Amazon ordered Paper Girls to series, and it is on Amazon Prime now. So it was like one of those weird things where it's like, wow, I mean, here's an indie. I bought it because it's supposed to be an indie comic, and here's Amazon producing this thing.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Amazing.
They used to do it a lot when there would be TV shows, and then the comic book that mirrored the TV show. Like, and of course, the music groups like the Archies had the comics, Scooby-Doo, there was the comics and the TV show, the animated TV show. There was all these different TV shows of the day that oftentimes, and music groups that had comic book versions of either their music, their band, or the TV series that kids were watching.
Right. That's true. Because I was a big X-Files fan when I was growing up as well. And I remember I got into anything X-Files, I want to buy it. Like, it'd be a t-shirt that they made a soundtrack of these things. So I remember buying the X-Files comic books as well. And it was like follow Mulder and Scully on more adventures in the X-Files comic series. I can't even remember who published that, but you're right. Like you'll see that a lot as a way to continue a story in another medium.
I think the Brady Bunch had one. I mean, a lot of the shows of the time had these sort of comic books, and then they would do cartoons too. Like they had the Brady Bunch series, but then on Saturday mornings there was the Brady Kids, a cartoon. Cosby had it too with Fat Albert. I mean, there's just so many things that tied in, and of course then the lunch boxes and the t-shirts and all the things that went along with it. The branding and the merchandising was really huge.
To make the money, right?
Right, exactly. This really was a great conversation, guys. I don't want to keep it too long. We've just let it roll and have a good chat. I really hope that you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely have with both of you, Jonathan and Tristan.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
As well. Yeah. Thanks for having us.
The pleasure is all mine. Conversational, free-flowing, easy breezy, nothing too heavy and nothing pre-scripted. We just let it roll. And all the viewers watching around the world have been commenting and celebrating and cheering it all on. Some of them watching our show for the first time. We love everybody. And we're going to keep the porch light on for you guys. You are welcome back together, individually, however, anytime here on the Jim Masters Show. We keep the light on for all the guests and spread the word about our show. And definitely come see us again. And truly, I hope the show met whatever expectations you guys had. And it was a great time with you, Jonathan.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And it was good seeing you again too, Tristan. It's great. Thanks for joining me. And
absolutely. And Tristan, it was amazing having an opportunity to meet you as well, and a fellow New Yorker. And it was a blast having you on the show as well, my friend.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And thank you again, everyone who's tuning in right now. Thank you to the Maze Runners. I see you guys in here.
I saw that. That's funny. I love that.
Jim, I see Holly.
Everybody's now a lovety here on the show. And all of our viewers are commenting, new and our regular crowd. And anybody that's going to be watching this later in the archives, we welcome you as well, because we're doing the show live right now. We do a lot of our shows live. Not everybody does that, but I always love it. There's something about live. I think it's my years on radio and TV doing live shows. There's something exciting about live. Anything can happen. But everybody that's watching this later in the archives, we hope you're enjoying it as well. And drop a comment in the comments section. We would love if you did that. And don't forget as well, gang, we would love it if you give this episode a like. Yeah, click like on the YouTube channel. Helps us grow even further around the world. Click like, share this on your social media. Subscribe to the YouTube channel where we have hundreds and hundreds of celebrity friends and guests stopping by. The channel is Jim Masters TV. And leave a comment. Drop a comment in the comments section right below our smiley faces right down there. Just leave a comment. We love it. We're interactive. We love you guys. This was really cool. It's as if we grew up on the same street. We knew each other for years, huh?
Perhaps we did.
Yeah,
I'll tell you. Congratulations. Jonathan, I don't think you haven't smiled all night. You've been enjoying it.
Jesse knows how I am. I'm always joking around.
I think that's awesome. Congratulations again. It's the Comic Shop, everybody. Look for it. We'll keep you posted. They'll let us know when there is a platform, and you guys will be able to check that out. And it was really a blast. Appreciate all the time. Oh, we love this. Remember, Jonathan, I told you before Tristan come on, sometimes dogs, cats, birds end up in, children end up in. Who do we have there, Tristan?
This is Sergeant. This is my very special boy. He's been
How old?
He's been staying with my parents for the last 2 weeks because I've been so busy with things. So this is our first day back together.
How old is he?
He is 9 now.
Wow. Does he know he's on the Jim Masters show?
Yeah, he does. He definitely does.
I hope he's not union. He'll cost us a fortune.
He is, by the way. He makes a lot of appearances on my Twitch streams. So everyone in the comments.
Everybody know. Wow. That is cool. Even an appearance from another loved one in the family. That is awesome. Truly, this was really fantastic. And again, I hope you guys really enjoyed it. It was amazing, huh? Really
it was awesome. Thank you for having us.
Very different. We do it, casual and fun. And you're getting, this is what usually happens when we talk about food or pets. They forget about us. Now they love they love Sarge. They're voting for Sarge. Yeah. It is the voting season and they vote Sarge.
It's a good choice.
Atlanta, in New York City. Oh, doggy, so cute. Puppy. God, they're typing fast. They love this. This is awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Great show. Thank you very much, Matthew Albright. Welcome to the Jim Masters show. What a beautiful boy. Cool stuff. A cutie. Jane watching in Sweden where it's 3:00 in the morning. Wow. And she's with us. And double hearts. Cool stuff. Gang, again, really a pleasure. And come see us again. Congratulations on the movie. And really, really enjoyed it. You be well, okay?
Okay.
Yes, you as well. Take care. Bye, Jonathan.
All right. Take care, Tristan and
Bye,
Jonathan.
Guys, take care, guys.
All right, Tristan. Take care.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And Jonathan, thank you as well. Congratulations on the movie, my friend.
Thank you. I can't wait till everyone can see it. I'll let you know.
Come see us again and spread the word about our show, okay? And if you know other folks you think would like to pop on, any of the folks you work with, other fellow talent, or what have you.
We got to get Jesse to come next
that
time.
Would be awesome. Yes. That would be fantastic. And everybody loving it. And, they can come on for as long or short as they want. We don't really put a time. Yeah, it could be. Busy, we just had so much fun. It was just let it roll. Not as long as the Scott Schwartz, but still a good one.
Exactly. Give it a good run.
That's it. Jonathan, thanks so much. Congratulations on the Comic Shop. And we'll talk again soon, my friend. Okay.
All right. Let's talk soon.
All right. You be well. Have fun there in Vegas.
Okay.
All right. Say hi to David Copperfield for us. And Carrot Top. Oh, could you imagine Carrot Top coming on?
That would be fun.
Oh, that would
be really fun.
Oh, yeah.
He's just an easygoing. He's one of the most down to earth people.
Really, truly. Yeah. He grew up in Florida and he's been around a long time too. There's clips of him years ago on, Carson and all the night talk shows and everything. He's just been around. He's worked really hard, Carrot Top, who people were asking his real name is Scott Thompson, and he grew up in the Orlando area in Florida, and he still loves Orlando.
That's why he was okay. I saw him.
Yeah, he's from Orlando, Florida, Scott.
Just before the Orlando Film Festival. And so I was kind of wondering why he was there.
He's from there, still has family there, loves Florida, loves it there. And of course, he's got his residency in good old Vegas. Good stuff. Jonathan, again, be well. Come see us again and appreciate all the time.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Cheers. Bye-bye. Oh, wow. Good stuff, gang. Jonathan Bowen here, award-winning film director and writer, and also Tristin Mays, acclaimed actress and singer. You know her from so many great shows, Disney, Nickelodeon, and of course, MacGyver and Vampire Diaries. And now this great one. We showed the trailer. If you missed it, you can go back and see this whole episode again. It is The Comic Shop. Jesse Metcalfe is in there, very popular actor. You guys know Jesse, I'm sure, from so many great shows. Really, really cool actor. And Micah Giovanni introduced in this fantastic film as well. And we got a chance to talk behind the scenes about some of the cool things of the making of. And of course, we appreciate Tristin joining us here on the show. She's a terrific actress, a lot of fun, originally from the same tri-state area that I'm from, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. And she's really a great actress. We talked about Vampire Diaries as well. All the stuff I know you guys were thinking about. And there is Jonathan and Jesse having a fun moment behind the scenes on set with the comic shop. Pretty cool, that cookie truck, huh? Wow. I wish we did the show there because I'm a cookie guy. I think my favorite character on Sesame Street was Cookie Monster. I know a lot of people like Elmo and Grover. Grover was cool too, but Cookie Monster, you got to love him. Good stuff, gang. And yeah, you guys know I've worked with PBS all these years, so that's the Sesame Street reference. Lots of great comments coming in from everybody. We welcome all the new viewers to the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Celebrity Talk Show Series. If this is your first time watching our show, gang, we welcome you from wherever you're watching. This is archived on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, so you can share it, see it again. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell so you never miss any of the great episodes and all the great guests that we have. Really, really cool stuff. And I want to let you know, too, we did an incredible remembrance of Andy Gibb. You know, Andy Gibb, of course, the brother of the Bee Gees. And we really had a great episode yesterday. And hey, if you love all these great stars, come see us again and go binge watch our archives. We have Disney stars that have been here, stars from Nickelodeon. Mark Summers, who was the host of Double Dare, was a guest on our show. We have legends from Hollywood and television, film, rising stars from film and television, Broadway stars, writers, producers, musicians, singers, major celebrities in the music world as well, chefs, authors, psychics. I mean, just about everybody. Coming up on Friday as well, we have Tina Cole and Stanley Livingston from the iconic television series My Three Sons, along with Herbie J. Pilato, the award-winning author and actor, Hollywood actor. We're going to be sharing some Christmas TV memories, some of your favorite memories from the TV shows and series and specials and movies. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're also going to be doing a very special tribute to I Love Lucy as well. And cool stuff. Again, we have all kinds of guests from all different backgrounds, age groups, success levels, and so much more here on JMS, the Jim Masters Show. We thank our very special guests, Tristin Mays joining us here, and Jonathan L. Bowen joining us on the show as well, celebrating their careers, their experience, and the comic shop. It's their first time joining us here on the Jim Masters Show. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Take a look at one or two more quick little thumbs up here. Thank you very much, Matthew. Welcome to the lovely family here at the Jim Masters Show. And Pierre Kelly, fantastic program. Thank you, Pierre, as well. And everybody that's watching all around the world. This is your host, Jim Masters, thanking you and you and you for your time. Thanks for being with us. Come see us again here on the program. We love having you here. And as we always say, don't forget to love one another, take care of one another, and don't forget to love yourself as well. Be well, take care, see us again. Cheers.